to advertising and bulletin boards. So specifically for advertisements, like the flyers that you may see that the RAs put up to inform you guys of when different building programs or floor programs are happening, is mainly because it is a part of the RA position, but it informs your residents of when, where, and what type of programs are happening within your building as well as on your floor. It's also another way to help get your residents involved within the community that you have. So, some places to create an advertisement. This is an RD and RE's favorite. It is called Canva.com. It is completely free and it gives you multiple templates to just insert words and call it a day. Or you can create a whole new looking type of flyer if you don't like any of the templates that are there. But you can also use Word, Publisher, Photoshop if you have the money to have it and you're super savvy with it, or even InDesign. So if you like graphic art type of things, or that is your major, then you're probably going to make a lot of flyers for everybody because they're going to look beautiful because you know how to do that.
So what should an advertisement have? The 3 W's are the most important part here. That's the what, the when, and the where. So you tell them what the program is. So if your program is like, I don't know, like a cooking class, tell them what they have to look forward to or like why that's important for them. And then you tell them when it is. So you give them the time and the location as well as the where, so that they know where to go and when to go to it. So for example, if it was today, March 20th, 8 p.m., if you're in Russell, it'd be the Russell lobby or the basement classroom. So those are the like real basics of what you want to have on there because that's the important information, but you also have to have your hall's logo if applicable. I don't know if all of them have it.
Yeah, some do, some don't.
Okay, but Russell has one, you'll see it soon. And the resident site programming logo, normally your RD will probably send that to you in an email and you can just save it on your computer or go back in your emails and find it. Or honestly, you can just Google like Belmont Res Life logo and you can just find it on Google Images every time if you want. So yeah, that's what you gotta put on there.
Yeah.
And I think we've got examples coming up,
Yeah, I was
right?
just gonna say, we have a few examples that actually Miriam and Madison have made before and put up in their halls. So as you can see, they're most likely just templates that they use, input and everything. So it probably took you what, like 10-15 minutes to create?
Yeah.
Not even. And they look absolutely beautiful. As you can see, the Res Life logo is on both. And since Russell does have their own hall logo, Madison made sure to put it up there. And they're easy to read. So when you are making advertisements like this, one thing you want to make sure is that you can read it. And you don't want to put a light yellow background with white text because you'll have no idea what it says. So if you are looking at your computer and you're like, wow, I can't read this, your residents probably can't read it either. So make sure you have those contrasting colors and just make it look fun and engaging. So we have another 2 examples that they've done. So they're super eye-catching and easy to read, and they give you a short little description of what the program is, where it is, and if you have any questions, to contact your RI and all that great stuff.
I'm gonna switch spots with you so I can see this. Okay, so Ari's favorite places to post their advertisements. This is once you've made the poster, where should I put it so that my residents will see the poster and want to come to the program? And when thinking about this, you should probably think about your audience. So are you in a freshman dorm, or are you in an upperclassman dorm? Are you in a community style, or is it suite style? And how can you best cater to those different things with where you should put your posters? So the front desk is always a great place to put it. Always put it at the front desk. People are checking in, they'll see, oh, there's a program coming up. If you're in an upperclassman dorm, the elevators are a great place to put those posters. The laundry room is another great option. Doors entering the hallways. So like, for example, Dickens has 2 different wings. So you could put a poster on one of the wings and the other wing, maybe even on like the small space between the 2 wings, just wherever you think that your residents' eyes will go. And then lobby areas. if you're in a community bathroom, you can even put some of the posters on the bathroom stalls or like on the inside of the bathroom stalls, or especially on the door to the community bathroom.
So just a few things to remember with creative advertising and making those flyers, that you need to get these advertisements or flyers to your RD at least 2 to 3 weeks before your program that you're having, so we can have a turnaround time to make sure we get it to the print shop, get it picked up, and get it distributed to you. So that's a simple email to your RD and say like, hey, I need 12 copies of this printed, I'll go pick it up, thanks so much. Make sure that all the spelling is correct, times, dates, locations are right. Be sure that you can read your advertisement, like I said, because if you can't read it, neither can your residents. And don't forget the Res Life logo, your hall's logo if you have one, and just be creative with it. Because the more eye-catching creative it is, the more likely the residents are going to actually take their time to look at it and read it to see what it's all about. So, do we have any questions? No? Great. So we're going to move on to the bulletin board portion of this. So just a little fun meme for everybody of what your friends think you do as an RA, what your mom thinks you do, what society thinks you do, what your residents think you do, what you think you do, but what you really do is you put up bulletin board butcher paper by yourself, trying to hold it up, making sure that actually fits, and making sure that you can staple it correctly. So another part of the why for the bulletin board, it's another part of your RA role that will be assigned to you by your RD. This is a passive way to enhance your community building and to get your residents involved within the community. It's another way to keep them informed of either your hall's happenings, whatever is going on in your hall, or Belmont's happenings, or even just happenings around Nashville. Because a lot of our students come from out of state. So if it's just a bulletin board saying that this week is hot chicken week, here's where you can go get your $5 hot chicken sandwich, that's awesome. And it also is a way to provide some educational and engaging content for your residents.
So some things to think about when you're doing a bulletin board. First, who is your target audience? So what we were talking about earlier, thinking about what kind of residence hall you're in, who your residents are, maybe what kind of information they're going to be needing. So you could have freshmen, upperclassmen, transfer students, and also international students. And then is the content engaging? Are these things that, is the content something that my residents will see and want to look at, want to be engaged with? What time of year is it? So lots of times you can do holiday bulletin boards or different parts of the semester bulletin boards. For example, like maybe it's coming up on December, you want to do a bulletin board on finals. So like winter or spring closing. You could also talk about the protocols that your residents are going to have to do to move out of their dorm and how they need to set up a checkout time with you, things like that. Midterms, Halloween, Christmas, other holidays. And then relevant issues your residents may be experiencing, such as mental health, time management, roommate conflicts. You could give little educational tips on how to handle those kinds of things. There's also Mental Health Awareness Month and all different kinds of things like that. So you can make it really timely as well as really useful for your residents. And then think again of the location of the bulletin board, such as in the lobby, the laundry room, or the hallway. Think about who's going to see your bulletin board and maybe how you can cater your bulletin board to who's going to see it. So in the lobby, for example, I found that in the Dickens lobby, those bulletin boards need to be more funny and more entertaining, not really as educational, because people don't really want to look at them if they're as educational. So maybe I'll put like a joke, like I did Winter Wonder Wall, and like we made a joke about that for like closing. Or like in your hallway, you can do something maybe that's more interactive. Maybe you have you have a tight community in your hall, and you can maybe allow your residents to maybe say things that they're thankful for around Thanksgiving or something like that.
So where to find ideas? One of my favorite places to go to has always been Pinterest, but Google image search really does just fine. I guess just a mild PSA there. If you Google like RA Bulletin Board, a lot of non-Belmont appropriate things may come up from RAs at other universities, like safe drinking habits, which are important because residents do that, and safe sex practices and all that. If you think something might be too risque, definitely reach out to your RD first. But also, I think you can use common sense and just kind of figure out what might not be appropriate to put on a bulletin board in the residence hall at Belmont. But one thing I do a lot of times is I have an idea of what I want to do. So one time I wanted to do a bulletin board with a whale, and I literally just Googled whale bulletin board, and I found one that I liked, and I did that. So you can do that too, like bulletin boards with puns, bulletin boards with unicorns, that's always fun. And we also have a resource room on campus, which is where you're going to find all the resources you need, like your butcher paper, a little place to cut out your letters and borders and stuff. That's located on the first floor of Wright Maddox. That's over by the vending machines. There is a binder there, right, that has examples of bulletin boards. There's also prepackaged bulletin boards there as well. You can also just ask friends. You can ask residents what they want to see. You can ask other RAs what they've done. If you really liked a bulletin board in your freshman or upperclassmen hall that you saw this year, you can replicate it. Just do it a little bit differently. Plagiarism's okay on bulletin boards, but not in the same complex. But yeah, basically that's really where you find your ideas is Pinterest and Google and just friends.
So now we're going to show you just some examples that we found that of different bulletin boards that you can do. So to start off, if you want to go more the informational route, so the educational type of bulletin boards, we have Madison's Diversity. Say it for me.
Diversity.
There you go. So why don't you tell them a little bit about?
So this is the bulletin board I did in October of 2017 in Russell Hall. Russell Hall's bulletin boards are quite large. Because I was in the basement that year, I had to do a bulletin board that I knew a lot of people would find interest in, and not just like strictly target it to the male population or whatnot, because this was right by the laundry room. So everybody would be seeing it, unless they have the laundry service. This is Belmont. If we're being honest. Yeah, so I just wanted to kind of raise awareness because I think, yeah, because October was National Coming Out Month, and I was just like, we're just going to talk about all the different ways that people can be diverse. And I put culture, language, sexual identity, race, age, gender identity, a whole bunch of different things up there. I also cut little bubbles and seaweed. I wish I'd done more seaweed, but I got tired. This took me like 4 hours. And you know, if you like do this and then like a week later you're like, I want more bubbles, you can always do that. I didn't. If we're being honest. But yeah, the octopus, I saw the idea for that online and I replicated it myself and made the rest of the bulletin board my own.
So some other informational ones. So like this would be really great for a laundry room, is talking about the knowledge of how to wash your clothes. Because for students that are just entering, have no idea that the Tide Pod should be put in first and then your clothes. So if you also did not know that, here's your fun fact of the day. Yes, because then the soap just opens and stays on top of your clothes and your clothes don't get clean. Also with liquid detergent, it should go in first. So, fun fact of how to do your laundry. But now you can put a bulletin board up about it next year. As well as, this is about, nutrition, and they put a little pun on March, because we are in that month. So it's just talking about what are some nutritional foods, because everybody's trying to get that summer body, or they love the body they're in, so they're staying that way, because you do you, why not? But it'll give you some good information. Some RAs like to do interactive bulletin boards, which means that you may have seen the take what you need, leave what you can type of post-it note thing. There is an RA in Russell that has that up on her wall, not even a bulletin board, it's just on a wall, which is really cool. So as you're walking through the suite side, you can grab what you need, and it's just a little post-it note that says you're great or you're worth it, anything like that. As well as some would you rather boards. Now if you decide to go this route, make sure the would you rather question is Belmont appropriate. So like Madison said, if you think you're a little unsure if it is Belmont appropriate, just ask your RD and we'll tell you yes or no. So with this, you can like change out the question every day, every week, just to keep the residents more engaged. As well as the proud RA fridge. There's also been some RAs that do this where they want to display great things from their residents. So whether that is a test that they did really well on, or talking about their social media handles, or the music that they just put out, they post it up on that bulletin board for everybody to see. And then there are some just for fun bulletin boards. So sometimes we like to have them engaging and educational for our residents, but sometimes you just really want to put a unicorn up because you can, or you want to put Beyonce's face up in December and be like slay because you can. So the just for fun ones, this one Madison did for welcoming back the Russell residents, right? Mm-hmm. So it's just a cute little whale, which is really awesome that they see in the lobby so they can feel like they're home again back at Russell. This one's my favorite, life tips from a cactus. Definitely makes absolutely no sense. It's probably not educational at all, but it's just for fun. When I was an RA, I did life tips from Disney quotes and did a whole bulletin board of that, which was a lot of fun. And I won an award for it, so super proud. If you need tips on how to do it, let me know. I'll remember how to do it. And then lastly, there is this one that I thought was super cute. The transition from fall semester to spring semester, sliding into a new semester, because when y'all return from break, it is still that wintry period. So that's also something really great that you can do, whether that's in the lobby or in your hallway. So lastly, some bulletin board tips that you guys can absorb before you go. Get all your materials from the resource room. So like we said, there is a resource room in the lobby of Wright Maddox. You will be distributed a key that lets you into there, so you have access to it at any time. So if you need the background paper, which is the butcher paper, any borders, letters, if you're super out of creative juice and you're like, I just want one of those prepackaged ones, they're also in there. And those prepackaged bulletin boards already have instructions of what the bulletin board should look like. So all you have to do is just staple it to your board and call it a day. We have these things called die cut letters, where you're able to cut letters out of construction paper. Just be efficient with those, so please don't use one letter per one piece of paper. You can fit at least like 4 letters on there, because we do stock up the resource room, so that means we have to spend money, and we love to save as much money as possible. And then make sure if you're putting up an interactive bulletin board that is on your hallway, or you specifically put it up in the lobby, try to monitor that to make sure that residents aren't writing inappropriate things, because we do have some of those residents here at Belmont, unfortunately. And make sure if it is interactive where they need to write something, you keep those writing utensils away from the bulletin board, because that then gives those certain types of residents more ability to write something they shouldn't be writing. So if they want to write something on it, they can get their own pen or ask for some type of writing utensil from the front desk. And lastly, be creative with it and do have fun with it. Putting bulletin boards up does take a longer piece of time than creating any advertisements. So when it is your time to put up a new bulletin board, make sure you're thinking about that and you give yourself at least a few hours, I would say like 2 hours, to make sure you have your supplies and you get it put up in the way that you want it to. Because your residents will be seeing it, so make sure you do dedicate some time into it, because they like to see bulletin boards too, as much as maybe you don't think they will. They'll love it, and you want to be proud of it. And make sure that your RD sees it too when you get done with it, because I love looking at all the bulletin boards my RAs put up to see what their ideas were for the month. So, awesome. Do we have any questions? I'm gonna start back their view, yeah.
How often do we change our building?
Yeah, so that's up to the discretion of your RD, and they will tell you that during the summer training. I know for me, so anybody that's gonna be in TK, about once a month, I like to have it changed up just to keep our residents engaged with it, and that they're seeing different content every month. And you have a question? Yeah.
So, if we have an idea, but we don't have it like sketched out or anything
Yeah.
like that, how do we talk with the RD about like what we're doing and get it like approved or whatever?
Yeah, so that's a simple email to your RD or even just popping to their office and saying, this is the thought that I have, that I want to put up unicorns frolicking in a meadow because I really like unicorns. Cool, the RD will probably be like, that's wonderful. If it comes to like, I think around, it's either October, April is Alcohol Awareness Week or month. And if you go to your RD and say like, I want to put up a simulated pond table and talk about safe drinking habits, that may be a little bit questionable. So it's a simple like, stop into your RD's office or even send them an email and say, this is what I'm thinking of, here's my inspiration, would this be okay to do or not?
So we don't need to have like a sketch or anything?
Nope.
Okay, cool.
It's just a simple, easy conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions? No? Awesome. I think Shelby and Lewis have a few things to conclude.